Look at this freeze-frame description. It comes from Truman Capote's classic work, In Cold Blood, about the murder of a Kansas family by two drifters. Capote begins the story by talking about the setting, about the place where the murders happen. The village of Holcomb stands on the high wheat plains of western Kansas, a lonesome area that other Kansans call out there. Some 70 miles east of the Colorado border, the countryside, with its hard blue skies and desert-clear air, has an atmosphere that is rather more far west than Middle West. The local accent is barbed with a prairie twang, a ranch hand nasalness, and the men, many of them, wear narrow frontier trousers, Stetsons, and high-heeled boots with pointed toes. The land is flat, and the views are awesomely extensive. Horses, herds of cattle, a white cluster of grain elevators rising as gracefully as Greek temples are visible long before a traveler reaches them. Now let's see how Capote uses movement to describe a place, as if he's holding a video camera. Capote describes Herb Clutter's farm in western Kansas by showing him walk around, interacting with people. I call it Herb Clutter's Walkabout. After drinking a glass of milk and putting on a fleece-lined cap, Mr. Clutter carried his apple with him when he went outdoors to examine the morning. One of the barns was a mammoth Quonset hut. It brimmed with grain, Westland sorghum, and one of them housed a dark, pungent hill of milo grain worth considerable money, $100,000. Mr. Clutter now fed Babe the core of his apple, calling good morning to a man raking debris near the corral, Alfred Stecklin, the sole resident employee. The Stecklins and their 3 children lived in a house not 100 yards from the main house. Then, with the dog running ahead of him, he moved southward toward the fields, lion-colored now, luminously golden with after-harvest stubble. Passing through the orchard, Mr. Clutter proceeded along beside the river, which was shallow here and strewn with islands, midstream breaches of soft sand. Mr. Clutter seldom encountered trespassers on his property. Now, suddenly, a whole party of them appeared. "Go ahead, get all you can," he said. Then, touching the brim of his hat, he headed for home and the day's work, unaware that it would be his last day. The farmer's movements help us to understand this place. The scene's timing is crucial. It comes on the very day that Herbert Clutter and his family will be murdered by a pair of drifters. Getting to know the place through Herb Clutter, the patriarch not only of his family, but in many ways of his town, and on this day, makes the place meaningful. Now it's your turn. Describe your early morning routine. Use the passage describing Herb Clutter's last morning as a model. Describe someone else's morning routine, a family member or school or workmate, and how they reflect their values.